Hey, welcome into Thy Kingdom Come. This is a podcast where we talk all things Chiefs and NFL. We know Chiefs really well, so we're gonna kind of main cap on those. We also live in Kansas City, so whoop, 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 whoop. So I'm Justin. Across from me, we got Deontay. Say what's up, man.
Hey, yo, what's up? This is Deontay over here.
And we got our stats guy behind the computer. We call him a stats guy. Realistically, he's just a guy on the computer. I don't know how many stats he actually knows off the top of the head, but hey, say what's up, Josiah.
I'm here against my will. What's up?
Yeah, he got so close. That's so funny.
He didn't have a choice.
No, he didn't have a choice. So we're gonna be kind of giving you just a quick idea of what our schedule is gonna be like. We'll go to Josiah for that. Say what's going on, man.
Yeah. So during the season, we're going to be weekly, probably around Wednesdays. We're going to figure that out once we get closer to time. But during the off season, we're going to be flexible with the news that's coming out, and maybe weekly at some points, but we're not going to guarantee that at all.
Yeah, man. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of give things as we get like updates. We wanna give enough content to where it's not just like one thing happened. Here's a quick like 5 minutes. We want to give like kind of episodes of people to kind of recap the week or like a couple of weeks instead of just like what happened that day. Give a little. It's a little bit longer form while still being somewhat short form. We're only going to keep the episodes 20 to 30 minutes based on what we got. So, and Deontay's going to kind of start us off with some ideas of what's going on. So what are we talking about first, man?
Yeah, so I think first up, we have to. We can't just ignore what we witnessed, but I think we just have to briefly just look at our Super Bowl run. Just just the playoffs and the Super Bowl. I mean, we can't get away from that.
Which one? We've had so many, I can't keep track.
We did that again?
We did that again.
Yeah, we did. So
right.
I guess we just need to talk about the most recent one. How about that?
Yeah. And I do say we because we are a part of the Chiefs Kingdom. Thy Kingdom come. That's us, man. That's us. We're coming. Okay.
Yeah, they just don't know, but yeah, we're part of the team. So, but yeah, I think we just got a brief recap. How's that sound?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
You guys good with that?
I'm good with that.
We got we start off the playoffs in the coldest game ever in history. And I think if you would have gave me free tickets, I wouldn't even have went because, I appreciate the warmth.
Like almost 20 people had frostbite in the hospital. Like 20 plus people, a couple dozen, had frostbite going to the hospital from that game. Now I'm good.
Yeah, and we can't forget Andy Reid's mustache. So that was just amazing. So, but
yo, that was crazy.
Yeah. So we had the Miami game. Mm-hmm. Josiah, what was the score of that Miami game there?
It was 26-7.
So 26-7. They didn't really have a chance.
Can we talk Trent McDuffie just smacking Tyreek Hill for the second game of the season?
Right.
Like he hit Tyreek Hill so hard he didn't catch a ball.
Right.
The first one went for a fumble recovery for a touchdown. This one, the ball probably went 15 yards behind Tyreek Hill. Right. Just insane.
Yeah, locked him up. That was great to see. And, sorry for him. He could have had another one with us, but he had to take the L from us. So that was that Miami game. We had a Buffalo game. Josiah, what was the score with that Buffalo game?
It was 27-24.
Yeah, that was a little closer game.
What did Patrick Mahomes say? He said they wanted it. They wanted this.
Yeah, they said they wanted this.
They wanted this. Yeah, that's crazy.
And that was a big moment because just the media and everybody out there stating that the Chiefs have never won a road playoff game, and I think that just attests to just what we have overcome because of the fact that you got to give it to them. For that being the first one, that isn't nothing short of just success there,
Right. So, and the Bills were the hottest team in the NFL.
Oh yeah.
At the time, they were rolling over people.
Yep.
Playoffs teams too. Not just scrubs. Playoffs teams.
Yep. So they fought hard to get in there. Got they got the home field advantage. Their crowd was pumped, but it was good just to see the boys come in there and take care of business on the road. And then that followed the Baltimore game, which what was our score there, Josiah?
17-10.
17-10. So as you can just see, these games were just fought hard. It was good just to see the boys come and one win on the road again and just show that we was about business.
Yeah, I fully expected this to be like a Harrison Butker 5 field goal game and it'd be like 5 to like 24. Like, to only see the Ravens offense put in 1 touchdown in the field goal is crazy.
Well, here's the crazy stat is in that game, I believe it was either 2 or 3 possessions that they only have in the red zone.
Yeah.
So that just showed like just how spectacular the defense was.
Right.
How we just
their touchdown didn't even come from the red zone.
No,
Like,
the touchdown wasn't even the
it
red
was
zone.
like a 50-yard.
It was a broken
touchdown.
play.
Yeah.
You know, very just showing the athleticism of Lamar Jackson to make that play happen. But yeah, even their touchdown wasn't even in the red zone.
Right.
So
Which Leo Chenal almost had that sack.
yeah,
He was almost.
Yeah, he was there. He was there, and you know, even one of the plays in the red zone led into a fumble with L'Jarius Sneed,
Right.
knocking the ball out there. So yeah, it was just a great win there. And then we had the San Francisco Super Bowl game, just hostile environment. As San Fran obviously is closer,
Sounded like a home game.
Oh yeah, it did. Everything leading up to it, you know, just the fans for San Fran, they were just loaded there. And so, what was our score there, Josiah?
25-22.
And that was in OT.
Overtime.
That was in overtime. It almost went to a second quarter of overtime.
Which a lot of people were confused about the rules of overtime. Like everybody's like, oh my gosh, why aren't they snapping the ball? Why aren't they snapping the ball? So in overtime, there is a guaranteed possession for each team, even if one scores a touchdown. And that possession, like say one team has it for 9 minutes, the other team still has it when the clock runs to 0. There's another quarter. So it's another full half of football until somebody takes the lead after each team has a possession.
Yep, it's literally a full whole game. And here's the crazy thing. It never happened in history, but if the score would have stayed, you know, we score and we tied it up and nobody scored in that second quarter, it technically would have went to another a halftime. No halftime show because we didn't need to see Usher again, but there would be another halftime, just short and linked. So just crazy, just the things that could have happened. But what better way just to close it out with just a few seconds left, and we're just thankful for the staff that just prepared every week, just knowing the game management, game situation, and our coaches just outshine there because, you know, as we just heard the stories of San Fran players, some of them didn't even know just the rules or what was going on. So big shout out there, and that just shows just we came to play, not just the players but the coaches as well.
Right, and you got to think about like you were talking about preparation. Like they said that they were talking about overtime in the preseason for the Chiefs. Like every week, once a week, they talked about how playoff overtime rules and regular season overtime rules were different every week. So you got to think there's 18 regular season weeks plus the like 2 months of like what is it, OTAs and then the preseason. Like so you got to think for, would that be like 7 months?
Yeah,
they were talking about like all these new rules, plus recapping in January, like during the playoffs. And man, for Kyle Juszczyk kind of like threw his coaches under the bus.
Oh
there.
yeah, sure,
Like straight under the bus. And then who was it? It was Trent Williams was confused as to why they wanted it first.
Yep.
Like
just the big controversy with that, with taking the ball and you know the different outcomes. You know, then kind of goes into reasons of why you do certain things, and this outcome didn't land that way, and so I think they'll. They got to learn from it. So
for sure.
It was just one of those moments. And just like one of the refs said, he said, oh, you're giving the Mahomes ball back with this much time. So even the refs knew.
Right.
Kind of what are you doing? So
yeah, you got to and another thing to think about is like, well, so congrats to Pat for winning another Super Bowl MVP.
Absolutely.
That's 3 for him.
Yeah.
Like crazy. Yeah. But there's like other people that I think really like actually might have made a bigger impact. I wouldn't say like obviously Pat does what he does in crunch time, but like you got to think of like how frustrated Brandon Ayuk was in that game. Like, and he even had the quote like "Don't forget what got you here" or what he said to the in the post game press conference, like or was it on Twitter? It was one of the two.
Twitter,
it was probably on Twitter, but like the dude was frustrated And if Brandon Ayuk ever listens, you're more than welcome here.
For
a deal.
Yep, that's
you want a
right.
Super Bowl? Come here for a deal.
Yeah, and you could just tell what we did was impactful because, as we know, how San Fran tried to set up a meeting with Spags.
Right.
It's the whole concept. You can't beat them, so you try to get them to join you. So, but Spags, it was great to see that the day of the parade we just extended his contract and. And Spags we trust. So, that's just great move all around. Even our DB coach, they did
They
interview.
went out their way.
Yeah, they did interview to try to bring in for the defensive coordinator. But I mean, hey, when you are a part of a legacy and dynasty, you care about that and what you're building. So we're good to see that the DB coaches stand with us. As we need it. So just a spectacular recap of just probably one of the hardest runs of just what we faced. And I think it was just through everything that we faced during the regular season and just the road. This is probably, as a fan, this was probably the most spectacular Super Bowl run out of the three that we've been able to witness.
It's probably got to be one of the most impressive Super Bowl runs ever.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Like, you have the worst receiver room, like, quote unquote, like
led the league in drops.
Everybody says how bad this team is.
Top 5 in penalties.
They're never good, and then you hit week 1 of the playoffs, and it's just a light bulb switch on. Like, everything clicked. It was, I was quite impressed. I was crying and laughing through all of it, but you laugh to keep from crying. But
yes, absolutely. So that was just a great, just road story there. So that's just to recap there. Sorry, we couldn't get away from that. But let's move on to a few big things that is very pending for this upcoming season. One, let's just talk about this Chris Jones situation. We got the Chris Jones situation that. All of us as fans were just looking to think that this week something can happen, and it's really been a roller coaster as just what's going on here.
Now we still got 6 days.
Yeah.
We still got 6 days.
Yeah, we got some days, but it's crazy because towards the end of last week, just the talks that things were going really well, the contract, things are close, and there was just kind of rumors and talks of could it be around him receiving $30 million a year, either 3 years for $90 million or 4 years for $120, and now we're in the middle of this week and they're talking about the Chiefs could likely be offering 27 or 28 million, and there's some optimism just going on of where the contract lands. So. Just for a brief moment, this Chris Jones contract is kind of got just all of us on the edge of our seat right now.
Dude, and I think our defense, when it comes to the rest of the pieces behind Jones, I think we're actually pretty solid still. But it also, week 1 against the Lions, Chris Jones changes that game.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Karlaftis is able to do what he does because Jones is on the other side wreaking havoc, right? You got Amenahue. Pennell came in and did some stuff, but, Chris Jones is just different.
Right.
It was like when Jones and Frank Clark were opposite ends. You know what I mean? Karlaftis on his rookie deal, he was still learning, and, I think he's way better now, but I think Karlaftis probably doesn't look as good if Chris Jones isn't on the other side.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's, and that's the big thing right now that, I love Snead and what he has done here and for the organization and everything. But I think, without kind of Jones, you don't have just the Snead and just the productivity that he had.
Right. And
so I love Snead and would love to obviously see him stay. And we'll get to kind of some things with him. But I think Chris Jones just having that piece is just very vital. So, they're looking again now. There's just some talks that the contract could be about 27, 28 million.
Right.
And we know he want to be around that 30, being, just one of the highest paid defensive linemen. And, I get it. It's a business. And, also for him, he wants what he's worth. And, but we just hope that as we saw at the parade, he really was talking. Just it seems like legacy is where
Yo,
is what he wants for the most part.
His agents were saying somebody turn off the tap, like they gave him too much.
Yeah, there was
so
several of those.
You know that they were they were a little mad that he's like, I'm coming back, I'm not going nowhere.
Right.
So yeah, that was kind of funny to see. It's always fun to see like what people say in the moment. Which I mean, we might touch on this, but like, look at the Jason Kelsey thing.
Right.
Like right after their game, oh, he said it's his last game, and then he's like, no, who said that? And like he's like, yeah, I'm coming back, and then here we are a month later, month and a half, actually almost 2 months from that game later.
Yeah.
So
great retirement speech, by the way.
Oh, dude, it was so good.
So I think these are some big pieces again, like with the L'Jarius Sneed as well. We know that we did franchise tag him.
But it's like
non-exclusive franchise
non-exclusive,
tag.
yeah.
So yeah, he's able to have some talks, which he has been kind of with teams, him and his agent, as far as just some potential trading there. And Sneed has made it known that he wants to play for a contender. And so that's a huge part with some. I think the Colts are out there. I think the Falcons were out there. The Jaguars. Detroit Lions and so it's just some teams out there.
Did you say the Steelers?
I think no.
So
I think Steelers may be out there.
Steelers were pushing for him, like just something I read yesterday. Like Steelers are potentially pushing for him hard to like kind of solidify the back end. I mean, they've got a solid like box.
Yeah,
their
sure.
box, their defensive box is great. Their front seven. Yeah. Fantastic. Like they just need to work on the defensive backs, but hopefully they don't do it.
Yeah. So just with him, if anything, hopefully we can pull a second round. That would be great. Right. But if they haven't, I think mid-July or so, that whether we can make a long-term deal with them or whichever team that's going to trade could as well. But there is the potential that that he is on this franchise tag.
Right.
Playing with us for this year around $19 million.
Right. Well, and you got to think like just because a player's a free agent doesn't mean they're guaranteed to go somewhere else.
Right.
Like they might be doing that shopping thing where they're trying to see what other teams are going to offer and be like, hey, like this is what this team is offering, this is what you're offering. Let's meet in the middle.
Right.
Like let's split the difference. I want to be here. Like I don't think there's a player in the NFL that doesn't want to be on the Chiefs right now.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
They don't want to be a part of like everybody wants to be a part of a team that has the potential to do a three-peat. Like, when has that happened in the NFL?
Never.
It hasn't.
So
like
we have an opportunity.
You hear about it in NBA.
Yeah.
Like, happens way more often in the NBA than I think probably any sport. Like, baseball, it happens like once in an absolute blue moon. But like NFL, like is like one of the only major sports that I don't think has a three-peat. I don't know if hockey does, but like in the U.S., I don't think there's. I think the NFL is the only, the only league that hasn't had a three-peat yet.
No.
So it would be really sweet to be the first to do that and win 4 in 6 years.
Yeah.
Go to 5 in 6 years and win 4 in 6 years. I think at that point,
sorry,
Tom Brady, you out.
Yeah, it's super cool.
There's one team in the NHL who three-peated, New York Islanders. They did it 4 times in a row. 1980 to 1984.
Look at this. We're not just football people. Like
we
got
our
stats guy. Maybe he is a stats guy. Look at this.
But here's the thing, like if things kind of go and Sneed move on, I do think it was huge to keep our DB coach because I think we do have some things in the work and we got some players on rookies contracts. We're young. We was the youngest defensive team in the league, so. Or I guess for sure playoffs, maybe league we're around there. But if Sneed steps out, we do have some Joshua Williams and Jalen Watson there that can step up. And here's the thing: when we drafted Shamari Connor, we drafted him as a corner, but we moved him to safety. So we still have him.
And he
that
made
can
some big
play on the
plays
outside as well. Absolutely,
he made some big plays.
Yep, he stepped up in the when Mike Edwards went out, and obviously here we get. We'll get our safety back.
Right.
And
who was it? Deion Bush? Is that who that is?
That was Brian Cook. Brian Cook.
Who's 26?
26 is Deion Bush.
Deion Bush. Like him coming up with like not starting regularly, coming up with a huge interception.
Yeah.
Like against the Ravens. Like that was Like, I mean, so our young guys, like, they have talent.
Yep.
Like, they just, like, with the reps and the rotation we get in there, I think rotation is huge.
Yep.
You got to be able to give, like, just like you want a good rotation on the defensive line, you want that same for your defensive back.
Yep. And we get. Oh, go ahead.
So before we move on, do we want to talk about Chris Jones and the Raiders thing that happened the other day?
Yes. So Chris Jones and the Raiders that happened the other day.
I don't know if I heard about this.
Yeah, there was some little
drama.
There was some little drama there. Some tweet things out there to where there was just a statement of there was some looming around that Chris Jones could potentially his last game with the Chiefs could be where his first game of the next season could be, and obviously we did play in the Las Vegas Stadium, so there's just some controversy there. And there was, what's funny is, there was a guy that tweeted out about the situation, and just some fan or so, and he tweeted, but he tagged the real the Stone Cold Chris Jones or whatever it is, and Chris Jones commented back with a handshake. And so it was, I know,
crazy.
like during even last season and here, Chris Jones kind of tries to put those just little egg drops or whatever you want to call them in there to kind of get you just like, okay, what's going on here?
We also know Chris Jones is a troll, though.
Yes.
We also know that
Yes.
dude is the biggest of trolls, not just in size, but in like mental fortitude of trolling. Like he's just a troll, man. He's gonna make y'all think one thing and then completely do something. I did not think he was gonna play week 2.
Sure.
I think like this season, and he wound up playing this season for the same money he would have made if he never sat out.
Yep. Yeah. So
Like,
that's
which is crazy. Like this, I think like this is one of those points where agents have more to do with deals than they probably should.
sure.
Like, because I don't know if Chris Jones, like, obviously this is all speculation, but I don't know if Chris Jones sits out week 1 if his agents aren't like, no, we can get you more, no, we can get you more, and then they come back, after week 1, I don't know if we can get you more.
Yep.
And, I'm sure Chris Jones is pushing, like, hey, I want to play. Like, the dude showed up to the game. You don't have to do, like, when you're sitting out, how many players do you see going to that game?
Right.
Like,
Not
the
many.
dude wanted to be there with his team. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, so we just hope that that's all that information is false. But here's the thing. I mean, I don't think that would be a very smart move because
Look at Frank Clark going to
you have
the
to play
Broncos.
the Chiefs twice, and you know that we are defending champs, and so to get to the big dance, you have to go through us. So
And he's got to go against, like, if say he goes there, he's going against the best interior offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
In football.
yeah, so
and Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, which I just got a brand new Creed Humphrey jersey. Lock it up. It's the first active roster player jersey I've ever bought in my life.
there we go.
Like Creed
Yeah.
Humphrey, man, that dude's he's a lifer.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, we got some moves coming up with him as well in the future for contract extension. But yeah, we hope that that information is false but it wouldn't be a good move, I don't think. So, but yeah, we'll go into this next little part here. So with that and with these kind of moves, those it does determine potential first round and draft round, first round and second round picks. To come. And so here's just a few players that the Chiefs, I'm going to name a few players and then we can go into a little bit of their, a little bit about them. But so during the combine,
Yep.
we spoke with Xavier Worthy from Texas, which ran the fastest 40-yard dash time ever.
buddy.
And here's the funny thing. So going into the following season, Xavier Worthy was listed as 6'1", 172.
Yeah.
But they try to hype up the height and different things.
Yeah.
But he's 5'11", and he was 161 pounds at the combine. They said that he was looking to be the fastest, wanted the fastest 40-yard time, and so because of that, he lost weight leading up to the combine just so he can be lighter. To have the fastest 40, and he clocked that. I think the fastest was the 4.21 or 4.22.
So fastest was 4.22, which was John Ross, right?
No.
It was who was the fastest time?
Yeah, the fastest 40-yard dash time, as our stat guy looks that up.
Yeah, but he clocked a 4.21, so it was 4.22.
It was John Ross.
It was John Ross,
John Ross.
which
2017.
Which let's throw this out there. He is currently technically on the Chiefs roster.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like he's sitting there which I mean he probably has the best chance out of all the practice squad players right now to get an active roster spot. But imagine John Ross
Right.
and Xavier Worthy
Yeah.
like running deep while you got Rasheed Rice and Travis Kelce running
Doing
across the
everything
middle.
else.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, that would be nuts.
Yeah, so that's just crazy. Just going, he was doing every he can just to be impressive in the combine. And
Well, and let's talk about like also the other Texas like receiver. What was
Adonai
his?
Mitchell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Mitchell. I mean, he ran a 4.35, which isn't like that's nothing to laugh at.
No,
Like,
not at all.
That's a serious good time.
Yep.
Like that's still beating a lot of DBs down the sideline. So
Yep. And that's one thing that we're looking for is in our receiving core. One, we're looking for those that we can trust and we don't have the worst drops in the NFL. But we're looking for that because of I think that coming to the season, Rasheed Rice would take a bigger just step in a role for where we're using him. So releasing MVS, which was amazing because they
clears
cut
a lot of
a lot of cap there with $11 million or so around there. So we're looking for that down for a threat. So, I could see it. He is very, very tiny. He may weigh just as much as my right thigh. So
if he could put on
he's
weight,
a little
like,
guy. So
you think like if he can put on weight like Tyreek did through his first like 3 seasons with the Chiefs,
Yeah.
because Tyreek just like got shredded.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't all muscly coming in to the NFL. I mean,
Right.
he was like built, but like he was still super small, man. Like
Yep.
I mean, Xavier Worthy's only an inch taller, like so you can tell like it's capable. He's capable of doing that. You know
Yep.
what I mean? He's capable of putting on that muscle. Then, like that's a solid threat to like not only run fast because there's a difference between like 40 speed and game speed. That's the
Sure.
other thing I wanted to ask about. How much like outside of like interviews, how much do those things really matter?
yeah, I mean, I don't think. I mean, the 40-yard dash it's impressive, but I don't think it holds as much weight as it does. I mean, just look at Chop Robinson, a defensive line who
Yeah.
ran a 4.40 or 4.3, 4.4. What
Yeah.
our stat guy can look that up. Josiah, if you wouldn't mind. What was Chop Robinson? What did he clock at? I think it was 4.4, 4.3. But
Yeah,
that was
but
that was a defensive
4.48.
Yeah, like
But that was a defensive line running that. And
Yeah.
I mean, how much of that it shows some explosion off the ball.
Right.
But when you get 300-pounders on the other side,
they're not running that.
then,
like,
that 4.4 is not going to matter.
No.
But it's good to get around the outside. But
I mean, it might help with like chasing down a quarterback running outside the pocket. Like,
Yep.
I mean, it would definitely help with that. But like at the same time, your first 5 to 10 seconds of a play is going to be in contact with another lineman
Yep.
or something like that. So you gotta really like weigh in. Okay, how much does that 40 time matter
Absolutely.
versus a receiver? Which I mean, receivers like obviously it's probably going to matter more, but like you add pads, you add like actual cleats, you add somebody jamming you at the line, like
yeah,
it's
a lot that goes into it.
it's a whole lot that goes into it. But
So yeah, we had Xavier Worthy there, who he finished his 2023 year with 75 receptions, and 1,014 receiving yards, which he did have more than Adonai Mitchell. But we know that Adonai Mitchell is a big prospect on the other side, coming from Texas.
And a better average per reception as well.
Who had that?
Adonai Mitchell.
Adonai Mitchell. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a big threat as well. And then also from Texas, Tavondre Sweat, who's D tackle. He is 6'4", 362. He had 45 tackles and 2 sacks on his last year, and he's just a big mammoth of a man. And I could see it because we do need to build some future there with our defensive tackle. We have Karlaftis and Uzama, who we drafted last year. That we're building just some future, and if we re-sign Jones and get a player like that just to have alongside that he can groom and play with,
right.
and it helps kind of build our future. Very strong,
yeah, I don't
and
think
he's a run stopper. And
Right.
he clogs up holes. So
I don't think enough teams draft positions they have to be under like somebody can experience, like maybe not get as much field time year 1, year 2, but like they can learn from like better players.
yep,
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, just look
look
at
for those like 2nd, 3rd, 4th round guys that have like high ceilings. Put them under your top round guy, your like highest paid dudes,
Yeah.
and like let them roll. Like
Yep.
let them learn from the best, and like look at Patrick Mahomes with
Yep.
Alex Smith.
Alex
like
Smith. Yep,
like Alex Smith, like game manager, right? Like the dude knew how to win games late. He knew how to hold on to the ball, not turn it over and stuff. And then you got he teaches Patrick Mahomes, who's just this gunslinger out of Texas Tech. Like,
Right.
so that kind of stuff, like, it matters.
Yep. And then we got Darius Robinson, who is from Missouri. Hometown boy. But he is 6'5", 296. His last year, he had 43 tackles with 8.5 sacks. Darius Robinson, and because, I do have to say I am an MU fan, so I get to watch some games. He's a monster of a guy. He got some length on him. He has a decent wingspan, so he can get that separation. And he's a D tackle as well. So it's kind of cool to talk with him at the combine.
Yeah.
We also talked with Patrick Paul. I'm just going to move through these last few names quickly, but we have Patrick Paul from Houston, offensive tackle. Listen, this man is 6'7", 315.
Massive.
6'7", 315. He's a big fella. So, which is great because we know there's some contract with Donovan Smith.
Yep.
So we the left tackle side there, so we can move some pieces around. But Patrick Paul, we spoke to. He's a big guy.
I definitely think tackle is important for us this year.
Oh yeah, I agree. We did speak with Georgia's receiver, Lad McConkey. I think that's how you pronounce his name. From Georgia, he's only 6 foot, 185. Again, smaller guy there.
What was his 40 time? Well, Deontay's running through this.
Yeah, as Josiah looks for that. He had 30 receptions on the year, 478 yards. Now, we know that's not nothing crazy because, of course, when you got Brock Bowers, he's getting everything there, so he's going to be a potential first-round pick. But we spoke with Lad McConkey. We are looking for that third or fourth guy on the team, so, there's just potential there.
You wanted his 40 time?
Yeah.
4.39.
4.39. I mean, that's not a slumpy.
No, not at all.
You get sub 4.4 like as a receiver. Like, I mean, it shows you can break away. Because I love Rashee Rice, but bro got caught too many times deep down the middle.
Yep.
So.
And then we have Ennis Rackstraw, who's from Missouri as well, 6 foot, 188. He had 35 tackles on the year. He didn't have any interceptions. And his combine wasn't necessarily great, but he's a huge prospect coming in to the combine. So kind of a little bit works in the favor because he could drop. So, if we're looking for something there, then who knows what happens with this Snead deal here to where they say he get traded, potential we can get this year's second-round draft pick. And from a team, it moves us up. So, there's some decisions there. Again, we've been great developing young DBs like Snead. And, I think if Snead leaves, obviously McDuffie takes on number one, and he's locked down. So, another MU hometown guy that we spoke to. And then just one other guy. There was a couple others, but one other guy, Talise Fuaga from Oregon State. He's 6'6", 334. He's I think, offensive tackle. So he's a big guy as well with some wingspan and length there. So there's some options as we're just looking to plug in some major parts. So this free agency for us, I think, will be pretty big. Let me just say this the draft. The draft has major prospects coming in this year. So we can get some guys late rounders like we have done with, look at Pacheco. I mean, even when we draft Snead, what was he, 4th or 5th round pick? There's some late draft picks that we have done well with that we see. So there's some guys there that we could get late and just fill those spots. But the first and second round will be huge for us. And
if we can get either Mitchell or Worthy out of Texas, I'd be happy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like, and both of them are projected to go like late first, early second.
Yep.
So they should be around. Now we could also look into there's the potential. Like, I don't think we would trade up for anybody. Like, I think that'd be silly this year to do because there is enough in the draft that we need where the potential's there for players to grab.
Oh yeah, all around. Yep. So there was just some huge prospects there. So the first and second round would be huge for us, just depending on how some of these free agent moves work out. If we can potentially go defensive line first round, or I think we would go defensive line or receiver first round.
Yeah.
But who knows? I know that there's some talks with Calvin Ridley in free agency.
Yep.
Mike Evans, he did resign, so he's off our radar. So we got to move on there.
Keep an eye on maybe Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, Tyler Boyd there.
falling.
I think Marquise Brown is another name, and which would be great. He's only 26.
Yep.
He can fly down the field again, and he's a great player. I think he can be trusted. So we're looking for that downfield threat because we know Rice has stepped up to. And then of course we got the Big Yeti coming back. So with the Big Yeti, he can cover up everything else. So
right. Well, and you also got to think this is probably one of the last things we talk about, but we should probably, like we were talking about, drafting to have people under Chris Jones. Might think about doing that with tight ends as well. I mean, we got Noah Gray, who's 24, but Blake Bell is 33.
Yep.
Travis is going to be 35. You got to think about what's the future of your tight end room is going to look like as well.
Yeah, and there was a couple tight ends that we did speak to.
Right.
At the combine, so they're looking at that, and I think they have done well with that. Just knowing those pieces that we need, and going out and get them. So I think our future is bright, and so there's some opportunity. I just say I'm excited to see what happened in this free agency, which will hit. I think it was March 14th or March 15th, and then the draft around the corner in April. So. It's exciting, but a little nerve-wracking as we figure out the Jones-Snead situation.
Yeah.
But I think that's just some points where we want to hit on, and so we'll close out from here. So
yeah, we'll definitely go more in depth about that stuff as we get more information in the coming weeks. But thanks for listening. This one went a little bit longer than the 30 minutes we allotted, but we had a lot to do. It was. We took 10 minutes to recap. We introduced ourselves, told you guys about the schedule. So the future episodes are probably going to be much shorter.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll probably cut it to 10, 15 minutes shorter than this. But, we appreciate you guys listening. And until next time, man, thy kingdom come.